It was late fall of 2009. I had made it through several rounds of layoffs, but now it was my turn. Losing my job was not a big surprise. Actually, I was planning on it. Self-employment was probably my best bet. In fact, it was an exciting possibility. But as the cool winds blew, the reality of my adventure began to feel daunting. Great news! 2010 would begin under a full moon. In fact, a blue moon, since a full moon already occurred in December. My neighbors were preparing for a winter camping trip and invited Michael and I to join them. The day after Christmas, we began our journey into the Boundary Waters wilderness of Minnesota. We packed many sleds with lots of heavy gear. Our leader set course on a campsite about 5 miles away. On snowshoes, we hauled sleds across beautiful snowy lakes. We crossed several portages, some easy, some steep, and some with boulders in the way. My journey had just begun, and I was already in agony. My legs burned, my breath short. I began to worry. Can I physically handle this adventure? It got worse. Dreadful slush clogged our snowshoes, choking our footsteps. We chiseled out ice with ski poles. Michael and I stopped for a rest, looked at each other, and cursed. But the hard fact was, there was no turning back. Let me rephrase that. It would be more work and more dangerous to turn back. Also, we were part of a team. Our neighbors needed us. We had to push on. Trudge, trudge, rest. Trudge, trudge, rest. Finally, we set up our tent under a starry sky. Then began our search for dry wood to burn. In the wee hours of the morning, we fell asleep in a warm tent. Our record evening temperature would later reach 25 below zero. We awoke to a beautiful day and cooked a fabulous breakfast. Then back to work. Much wood was needed before we could rest easy. We cut a fancy watering hole in the lake and filled our water pot wearing neoprene gloves. To be drinkable, water was heated to a boil, then placed outside to cool. After several days, our stockpile of wood and water was sufficient to kick back and play more. On New Year's Eve day, more campers arrived. More hands to lessen the load. More friends to bring in the new year. We celebrated New Year's Eve under a blue moon, throwing glow-in-the-dark frisbees across the sky. On New Year's Day, we skied in costume. It was 9 below zero, and no, we weren't cold. Seriously. Michael and I headed home the next day and made record time. It almost felt effortless and definitely felt empowering. Winter camping had made me stronger. The intensity of my experience has lingered with me ever since. I sum it up to perseverance, teamwork, and momentum. Sure, easily attaining goals is wonderful, but the taste of success is way sweeter when you've pushed your limits. And just as the sum is greater than its parts, team effort can bring out the best in us. Momentum builds strength, which creates ease, increasing momentum. I barely made the trip in. I felt triumphant on my trek out. I am stronger for the next adventure. Now, whenever I'm in the middle of a challenge, I take a deep breath and sigh. I'm just pulling sleds. A blue moon is just around the corner. Spending time in the wilderness does a body good.